Procedure complete. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Fallout has always been something amazing to me. Fallout will always and forever be my most favorite RPG of all time. I need to stress that because as much as I love it, I do have to point out its flaws. Fallout 4, the second installment by developer Bethesda. It's a big, beautiful, all-around great game. In a lot of ways, it is the best Fallout game so far by Bethesda. For those who played Fallout 4, and none of the others before, they were expecting an even bigger, more expansive setting for Fallout 4 with all the great RPG elements that made the game shine. What the fans had expected was not what Bethesda delivered. You start out by creating a character as is custom to every Fallout game to a certain degree. The perk system and leveling up has changed a bit, but for the better. You now have a perk tree that you use your level up points on. When you level up another level, you gain another perk tree point where you can add levels onto perks, which is fantastic. You start off in the pre-war era, 200 years before the bombs fall. It was nice to see firsthand what it was like to live in a not-so-desolate land. If only you could explore it a bit more. Unfortunately, it goes as quick as it comes. You conveniently are greeted at your door with a Vault-Tec employee, who informs you that the inevitable Great War is upon us. Not 5 minutes later, the bombs fall and you're rushed to the vault, along with your wife and infant son, giving you barely any sight of what the outside of the pre-war looks like. Just as a bomb goes off close by, the vault elevator for Vault 111 lowers you down to safety, to which you are placed into cryostasis. You emerge from Vault 111 some 200 years later, but without your son, which is the main story of the game. Find your missing son. Find Sean. From here, your journey begins to do literally almost everything before actually doing a hardcore search. A lot of things do connect to the search, but I assure you, not once will you give a massive shit about your son until you actually really start focusing on the main story missions. No spoilers here, folks, so that's as far as I'm going with the elements of the main story. But as for the main quest line in a nutshell, it's the most put together story in a Fallout game so far. It takes a little bit of time to actually get the wheels turning, but once you do, you quickly become invested in it. The twists and events that occur are the ones that will make you pause the game and say, holy shit, what just happened? I haven't paused the game to take in events since Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. You know that part where Big Boss is in the hospital? Well, actually it's like, that to me was mind-blowing. It's those types of moments I live for in campaigns. Fallout 4 is certainly another great delivery in that sense. When you aren't desperately freaking out at the very mention of your son's name, you explore the beautiful Commonwealth and all it has to offer, like raiders and super mutants, god-fucking awful Mirelurks, and the absolutely horrific ghouls. But nothing is more terrifying than Preston Garvey. There isn't a day that goes by where I say Preston Garvey should be removed from the game, if not that, at least a killable character. If he was, I'd shoot him the very first time you see him in Concord. Most companions you meet have a part in the game, but after it's done, if you don't want them around, then that's okay. But no, not Preston Garvey. He's grateful for you saving his life, and he makes sure you know it. After a bit of time with Preston and his merry band of Minutemen, he appoints you to General of the Minutemen. Sounds cool, right? What does such a cool title have in store? It has recycled missions to the same settlements over and over again, where you do one of three things: kill these ghouls, rescue this person, kill these raiders. That's 90% of another settlement needs our help missions. He becomes that guy in the mall trying to sell you a hoverboard where you avoid eye contact, but if you quickly glance in his direction, he tries to get your attention and you walk away with a hoverboard. If you talk to Garvey, he will tell you every time a settlement needs your help. Not his, not anyone but yours. Don't listen to that our help shit, it's just you. If you don't want to do it, and are a perfectionist, you will fail the quest if you leave it sitting there. So it's a lose-lose. Preston is a piece of shit and I hope the first DLC is just killing him. I would be very grateful. Aside from horrible things, and by that I mean Preston Garvey, Fallout 4 introduces weapon and armor customization. You can make really whatever comes to your mind with the junk you find in the world. Yeah, it's actually not junk this time. You can finally use those aluminum cans you accidentally pick up for things. Combat is perfect. Gunplay is so satisfying and fun, especially when you unholster your personally customized pistol, ready for a gunfight. Settlement building was also added and it works for the most part, but it falls flat in the long run and becomes somewhat uninteresting. Another thing that becomes uninteresting is Fallout 4. Once you climb the higher levels, the game really makes you want to up the difficulty scale so you can feel like it's a fair fight. Eventually you do become unstoppable, a lot quicker than you think, which is severely disappointing. I started out playing nothing but Fallout 4, now only here and there. The game is still great, but it's hard to stay invested for days at a time anymore. A lot of core elements were removed from the game that surely will be added by mods and not the developers. Weapon and armor repairing has been wiped out like Skyrim, where nothing can break, which takes away the risk of keeping your guns and inventory constantly repaired and safe for use. The biggest issue with Fallout 4 is the lack of risk. No companion can die, nothing can break. Risk is what made the past games so fun and challenging. After one playthrough, you find yourself debating if you should even play again. I waited years for Fallout 4. When the announcement was made, well, I was excited to say the least, because I love it so much. While Fallout 4 did deliver a fun game, the hype dies down pretty quickly and falls flat, which is almost heartbreaking to me and every Fallout fan out there. We will have to wait for what the downloadable content brings to the table. Hopefully, it rekindles a dying flame.